Welcome to another behind the scenes video where I talk about my music and how I made it and, kind of a under the hood experience for those who are interested. So a little while back in my Minecraft single player series, I went to this area with turtles, seagrass, all the new things, dolphins that were added into the game, kind of this tropical area. And I wanted some new music that could reflect that. And I had a very vague idea of what to do, kind of a tempo and a general sound maybe in my head. So I just started to play around with some percussion. We are in Logic Pro 10 right now, and there is such a good amount of loops available here. Here I, for instance, searched for conga. You can go in, just search every percussion set here, and it's so much to listen to. These blue ones are real sound files, or however you should call it, real instrument being recorded. And these green ones are MIDI tracks with Logic's stock sounds. These could be nice as well sometimes, but these blue ones are the best. For instance, Logic also adapts to the tempo you have chosen. Here's the default tempo it was recorded in, and we are in 90 BPM. So sometimes the loops can get a little bit distorted, but most of the time it's fine. I think they all sound great. What's this? African crash box. Alright. You can just sit there for hours going through these loops. But these 6 tracks in the bottom here is the loops. So this is what I kind of did first. Let's skip ahead there a little bit. This is when they all are together. It's kind of nice, huh? Yeah. But then I didn't really have the inspiration for a melody. I think I decided which instruments. I knew I wanted flutes. So I just started loading up some instruments I wanted. This bansuri, I don't know anything about it, or how it is supposed to be played, or if this even is realistic, what I've done here. But it just sounds so good. It's so nice. And we also have a more normal flute. These are from the East-West company. The bansuri is from the Silk library, which I love. Almost all instruments there are very nice to just experiment with. The regular flutes are not at the same level, I think, but if you tweak them enough, you can get good sounds with them too. The piano is also East-West. And we have a bass here. This is just Logic's stock synth sound. But it sounds good, I think. So that was kind of the start of it. I also wanted some brass sound. I had kind of the sound that you hear in the beginning of the first James Bond movie, Dr. No. First there is just percussion and this trademark intro where it's lots of color and things like that. I think it's just three women dancing and the kind of profiles go into each other in different colors and so on. Really nice. And then it transitions into these three blind men going down the street and this Caribbean tune playing. But I still couldn't get a melody in my head, so I did what I do sometimes when I can't figure out what to do by the keyboard. I go for a walk, or as in this case, sit down by the kitchen table with a pen and an empty staff paper and just try to write down what I hear in my head, try to sing or whistle some melodies and see what comes out. So doing it this way makes the music a bit more simple, I think, and the melodies strong, and you also get melody ideas you don't get when you come up with a melody in a more theoretical way. Then you think more vertical in some way. You see that the melody is not clashing with any chords and things like that. But when you sing or whistle, you can come up with things that shouldn't sound good if you just look at it, but somehow it does. I feel that some pop music has that quality as well, that when you transcribe it and try to make sense of what it is that sounds good, sometimes it doesn't make sense. It just sounds good, even though it breaks some rules. So the melody starts out in the flutes. Sounds like this. And then the brass section kind of answers the same or repeats the same melody phrase. But I thought before we listen to these three instruments, we should go into my music notation software, which is called Dorico. This is Dorico version 2. And when it comes to ensemble music, I actually prefer to write the music like this. Because I am a trained musician that reads music like this, I can often get more realistic arrangements when I can see the music like this, strangely enough, because I can visualize the player handling their instrument and kind of hear if it feels realistic, you know. So I entered the notes here that from the paper just to see if I made any mistakes or if it sounded like I imagined in my head. And also to actually bring the sound from Dorico into Logic for once. There is a company called Wallander Instruments, I think, that has kind of a library that is integrated with different notation softwares. It's called Note Performer. And that recently got integrated into Dorico as well, so I was really excited about that. I wanted to try it out. One of those libraries that just works. You don't have to tweak a lot of stuff. Sadly enough, I couldn't get my screen capture software to grab the sound here from Dorico. But maybe with the magic of editing we can get this to work anyway. So just to give you an idea of how it sounds in Dorico now, I've kept it very dry and centered. That way I'm more flexible in Logic later when I do the mix. So it sounds like this. So back in Logic Pro 10 here, and I've imported the 3 instruments we heard in Dorico, and now it's added reverb and let's see if we can see the panning here as well. You see it's not completely centered anymore. The horn is a little bit to the left, the trombone a little bit to the right, and so on. So now it sounds like this. Now this second part is an example of something I wouldn't have written if I hadn't sung it. The melody here kind of clashes with the chord, but if you try to explain it afterwards, it is like the melody is foreshadowing the next chord instead. Kind of interesting and nothing I would have come up with just based on the theory I know. And these 2 trombones is myself playing, as you might guess. I knew that I at some point would make a behind the scenes video of this music, so I just named the tracks Decoy Trombone. So I played the same melody twice, and when you pan out the instruments far to the left and far to the right, you get this really nice effect, also used a lot in pop music. And I think you can see here that I didn't like what I played right here. I usually make a few takes and then I take the ones that I like the best. And in this case, I think the first part was better from one take and the second part here was better from another. The percussion is also changing a little bit here to get variation. From the main part to this second part. See if we can hear the transition here. It changes now. One shaker disappears and we have this triangle instead. Which makes it nice because when we are returning back to the start again, we can start building up the percussion like in the beginning. The go-go, more shaker here, and then the conga. So I made it so that this could loop forever. Just where we were, it starts over and it goes around and around. And I have listened to this several times, looping around from the start, and I haven't gotten sick of it yet, so... But I think that's it. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about or not talked about in this video, just leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.